This is Peter Collins with another sales tip for the professional salesperson. In this module, I want to impress on you to always pay attention to detail in sales. Yes, always pay attention to detail in sales. One of the things that really got under my skin as a sales manager were the salespeople who thought it was okay not to pay attention to detail. And when you looked closely at their performance, their note-taking was lousy, their record-keeping was almost non-existent, and their follow-up was a thing they had to do rather than treating it as a vital sales exercise to ensure the total sales process was tracked and followed explicitly. I've even seen sales clerks and other backup staff not take notes or diarise important incoming phone calls, or at other times forget to inform the salesperson one of their prospects called while they were out. Sometimes those prospects were even wanting to place an order with the company, yet they were stifled by uncaring people that should have known better. I've even consulted with companies where the sales manager or the business proprietor were the main offenders and would forget things and then pass them on to salespeople a few days after because they didn't take notes or keep records but relied on their memory alone. Yes, that's what they did, and unfortunately most of the prospects had gone cold before they were contacted sometime later, or they had bought elsewhere. So here's a word of warning to salespeople, sales managers, sales supervisors, and sales support staff. If you tend to skim over details because you're busy with other things and don't just have the time to do things to the letter, you'll create problems that may lose you a valuable client. And if you're a salesperson or a manager that thinks you can shortcut your presentation because you've done it so many times before and you're now bored with it, you'll not only lose sales, but you'll probably lose customers along the way. All of the professionals I know think of every presentation as an opportunity to create a new client or to build on an existing client. They know that every presentation is a new presentation to their prospect, and they treat it with respect because of it. And very few people would do the same presentation exactly the same way twice. No, they work it closely. A dear friend of mine, the former Brian Price, once told me that in over 40 years of selling, he believes he had never presented the same product the same way to two different prospects. And his closing ratio was awesome right up to the time he passed away. Now, I want to pause this presentation for a minute because you should do everything with enthusiasm and without shortcuts, and do it always. So when you do everything you do with enthusiasm and without shortcuts, you'll end up with a totally different approach to the way you approach your selling. Now, I've brought this to your attention because I've recently read that as a salesperson, you should never take shortcuts in a presentation. And then there was an unless, and it said, unless your client indicates that certain details you would normally cover are not of interest to them. When I read that, I was shocked. And I immediately thought to myself, who as a prospect would know what you would be saying in your presentation? How would they know that certain details you would normally cover were not of interest to them? I I'm sorry, I just don't get it. And to me, what sort of a sales expert does this guy think he is? In my opinion, he seems to have no idea how to go about any form of selling at all. And I know I personally wouldn't pay him good money to advise me after reading that type of rubbish. On the other hand, I've always been taught that I should go out of my way to teach others that a presentation is not an ad hoc thing, because it's everything to the seller and to the prospect alike. Yes, to both the seller and the prospect. And for this reason, salespeople should respect their prospect enough to do the necessary homework before they present, to give themselves every chance to sell the prospect and to also give the prospect every chance to buy. So do everything you do with enthusiasm and without shortcuts, because whatever you do, it'll carry over to your paperwork and also your ability to handle a computer. And if your records are kept in that computer and they're meticulous, then you'll find that any member of the company can look through the records and be able to deal with any client that may call in for whatever reason while you're not in the office. On the other hand, any missing information could cause your newly acquired clients to quickly lose faith in placing the order with you. And if they're not very happy with what they see and hear after they've actually written the order, they may cancel. And that's something neither you nor your client would expect and would be best interest for both of you. So be meticulous in what you do with your paperwork, your follow-up, your full structure, and how you look after your clients, because it is crucial to your long-term existence in sales and your income. Because do it badly, your income will definitely be affected.